In this video, I'm going to show you how to relieve forearm pain and tightness in 30 seconds. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Dr. Rowe coming to you from SpineCare in St. Joseph, Michigan. In this video, we're going to go over easy exercises that can give instant forearm muscle pain relief, even within 30 seconds. A note about these exercises, each one works just a little bit differently. Best advice, go through them all, use what gives you the most relief. With that being said, let's get started. So let's start with a really easy way to get instant forearm pain relief. This is known as muscle scraping or gua sha, and what it's going to do is release tightness into soft tissues, including muscles and tendons, that may be causing pain in the forearm, wrist, and elbow. For this one, we need a couple different things. The first being a large metal spoon. You want one with a little bit more thickness. We're also going to be using a form of lubrication. Any massage oil, lotion, or cream that is designed to be put on the skin will work. Start off by taking whatever you're using and coating the whole forearm, pretty much from your hand into the forearm right here, all the way up to the elbow. You can even go all the way up to the shoulder because this works pretty much over any muscle. You just want to coat the whole area because we're going to focus on everything. So just take your arm right here and place it on a desk or a table and allow everything to relax. We don't want the muscles to be tense. A couple notes before we start. When it comes to the spoon, it doesn't matter what part you use. You can use the tip, the handle, the rounded portion. I would experiment with it while you do this and go with what works best for you. We're also only going to go over soft tissue like skin and muscle. We're going to avoid anything that feels hard and bony because that can cause irritation. So let's just have our hand right here down and have everything nice and relaxed. You're going to take your spoon and angle it roughly about 30 to 45 degrees, and you're going to gently press into the skin. We're only going to press in enough where it's going to be a comfortable self-massage but not causing any discomfort. From here, it's pretty straightforward. What you're going to do is just glide upward towards the elbow. We're going to stroke upward towards the heart. It helps promote circulation and healing that way. But just go over one spot nice and slowly for about 5 times. And with each repetition, try to dig into those muscles just a little bit more to knock out more tightness. Afterwards, see how it feels. If it feels pretty loose, what you're going to do is just go over a different area and repeat. If it feels like there's still some tightness left, keep digging in there until it is finally released. But I'd like to do this pretty much over the whole forearm, going from my wrist right here, going all the way up to the elbow, going off to the side, going out towards the other part of the forearm right here, and just focusing on pretty much any spot that needs it a little bit more. A note as you do this, and I don't know if you can see it over the video right here, but as you do it, you'll probably notice that red pockets will start to form over the skin. That is completely normal. That's blood flow coming in, which will help promote healing. Also, as you do this, you're probably going to find that certain spots just feel really just tight, gritty, almost like sandpaper. That's generally a spot of adhesion, and you really want to focus on breaking that up because that might be why you're getting pain in the forearm. Wow, I have a lot of achiness right here, but really just identify any spot that needs it a little bit more. I might actually spend some more time over this right here. I have a lot of tightness and achiness. So afterwards, after everything is nice and loose, what I'd like to do is take this one to the next level by putting the wrist and the elbow through different motions to activate the muscles to identify movements that need just a little bit more attention. So what I'd like to do first is focus on the wrist. I just make a fist and I just bring my wrist up like this, which will tighten the muscles right here, and that way you can dig into them a little bit more. So give that a try. You can also bring it down, which will activate the muscles more in this area so you can dig in there. You can also bring the wrist like this and also up. I really like to do the hitchhiker sign while I do this. So I make a hitchhiker sign with my thumb up and then bring it up like this because it will activate a muscle right here called the brachial radialis, which is a big instigator of forearm pain. So give that a try, and also, you know, switch up the position of the spoon too, because you might be able to dig into those muscles just a little bit more. Next, I'd like to focus on the elbow. So I kind of rotate it in like this and then dig into those muscles, and then I also bring it out like that, digging in. This is really good for both tennis and golfer's elbow if you're dealing with that. Another trick with this technique is to put the hand or the wrist or the elbow, any spot really, and go into a position where it's actually causing pain in the forearm. So let's say that if I turn my hand in like this, I start to get pain right through here. What I want to do is stop right before the point where it's going to cause more pain and then dig into those muscles until it's finally loose. And afterwards I relax for a second and then I repeat that. What you're probably going to notice is that you have a little bit more motion in there. You have a little bit more range of motion to build into it before that pain starts. So keep doing that over and over again until you finally feel like everything is nice and loose, or you're not getting any more improvement. So go through all of these motions right here, try to identify any movement that's causing pain, and dig in there as much as you can, and also use different parts of the spoon, and I hope that this gives you a lot of forearm pain relief. So with this exercise, we're going to focus not only on lengthening, but strengthening the muscles throughout the forearm. If you want long-lasting forearm pain relief, you have to make these muscles stronger. One of the easiest ways to do this is with the hammer method. You just need an ordinary hammer, but you can also use something like a small dumbbell, water bottle, even a stick. So we're going to go through 4 different movements. This is really easy to do. Whatever side that you're having forearm pain, let's say it's your right side, you're going to stick your arm out in front of you just like this. Try to have your elbow as straight as possible. You're going to grab right below the head of the hammer. So the first movement, what we want to do is just lower the head of the hammer down towards the floor, really focusing on moving through our wrist. So keep going down until you feel a really good activation of the muscles in the forearm. Do not go to the point of pain. If you start to feel any pain, back off slightly and then hold that comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds. The next movement is then lifting the head of the hammer up towards the ceiling. You're going to notice that the muscles get hit just a little bit differently. Getting 3 to 5 second hold. The next movement, we're going to focus a little bit more on moving through our elbow. So what you want to do is turn the hammer inward like this as much as you can, and then you're going to go outward like this. You want to do this whole complete cycle for about 3 to 5 times, and with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Why I really like this method is because you're going to find positions and movements that just feel weak or maybe are causing your pain. So let's say that if you turn the hammer in like this, you just have a lot of weakness, maybe your hand is shaking. At that point, treat it like your weak link and throw more repetitions in to strengthen that movement. Also, if you get pain while doing this, build into it. So stop right before the point that you get pain, hold that, and keep repeating this over and over again until everything is nice and loose, or you're not getting any more improvement. To take this one to the next level, all you have to do is slide your hand down the hammer. So the further that you go down, the harder this will be. So I would start towards the top, right near the head of the hammer, and work your way all the way down towards the bottom of the handle and progress into it as much as you can. But it's just a really easy way to hopefully get very long-lasting forearm pain relief. So here's some really easy stretches that you can do throughout the day anytime that you need instant forearm muscle pain relief. The first exercise, we're just going to have our hands out in front of us like this, palms facing towards the ceiling. Let's bend our elbows roughly at 90 degrees, tuck them off to our side. What we're going to do next is now focusing on moving through our elbow is turning our hands inward as much as we can. So we're really trying to point our thumbs down towards the floor. When we can't go any further, we're going to hold this position and then lower our hands downward towards the floor so our fingers are pointing straight down. When we get into that position, what we're going to do next is, again, focusing on moving through our elbow, is to turn our hands outward so our thumbs are going out just like this. During this, you're going to feel the muscles throughout the forearm really start to fire, so really focus on trying to build into that as much as you can. When you can't go out any further, you're then going to raise your hands up like this and then repeat that whole process over and over again. This is known as elbow cars. It's really going to work the muscles throughout the forearm, but it's also going to help with elbow pain. So if you're dealing with tennis or golfer's elbow, this should also help. But I like to try to do this about 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, I try to build into it just a little bit more. So the next one I kind of treat like a clock. What you're going to do is put your hand out in front of you, kind of like putting your hand in somebody's face, and you're going to take your other fingers and hook right on the tips of the hand right here. So I like to have my elbow nice and straight, and you just kind of pull your fingers back like this. As you do this, you're going to feel a really good activation, a very deep stretch form in the forearm. Only go to the point where it's comfortable. Don't go to the point of pain. Once you feel that, you're going to hold this for 5 seconds. On the next repetition, what you want to do is angle it a little bit off to the side. So if this was noon, try going a little bit more towards 1 o'clock and then repeating. You're going to notice it hits the forearm just a little bit differently. So go through as many different positions as you can. You're probably going to find that one certain position just offers the most relief. At that point, throw more repetitions in until everything is nice and loose, or you're not getting any more improvement. To take this one to the next level, what you're going to do is then lower your fingers down towards the floor like this, and then repeat. So I like to go right on the back side of my hand and kind of press into it. You're going to notice it hits different muscles by doing this, and then just repeating that through as many different positions as you can. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this video a like and maybe subscribing too. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching.